How's it going, everybody? Thank you all very much. I always appreciate you watching. I'm Orlando Ruiz Jr. Welcome to another classic movie review. We are continuing our celebration of Black History Month. It's still being the month of February, and so talking about black-led films all month long. Right now, I'm talking about a movie from 2001 from director Antoine Fuqua, Training Day, written by David Ayer, starring Denzel Washington in an Academy Award-winning performance, also starring Ethan Hawke. This is the story of two cops in LA. One's a veteran, one is not a rookie, but he's a younger cop, played by Hawke. Hawke is Hoyt, and Denzel is Alonzo Harris. They're both detectives, narcotics detectives. Hoyt is under the impression he is joining an elite narcotics squad. The whole movie takes place over the course of one crazy ass day as we ride along with these two cops in a Monte Carlo cruising the streets of LA as they encounter criminal activity every now and then. And when they first meet, I think that Ethan Hawke's character Hoyt is a bit put off by Alonzo's demeanor and his behavior. As these two cops drive around through LA making chit chat and get to know each other, every now and then it feels like Denzel's character is giving Ethan Hawke's character a hard time, like he's messing with him, almost like he's antagonizing him every now and then. And this entire day is supposed to be an assessment, at least that's what it feels like to Ethan Hawke's character, even though every now and then it feels more like an initiation kind of. And it feels like Denzel's character is all about really getting into character, really getting into the role of the whole undercover cop, or at least the role that undercover cops are supposed to play when they're out there on the street. And so every now and then it feels like the lines of ethics and morality are a bit blurred in terms of how far can you push that line and where is the limit. Ethan Hawke does a very good job in the movie as Hoyt. I really like his character and I really like his performance, but everybody knows that the big scene stealer all throughout this movie is Denzel, because Denzel looks like he's having a blast playing this part. And growing up back in the day watching Denzel as a kid, I never would have figured him playing a role like this, which I think is something that really took people by surprise when this came out. But it's a lot of fun to watch him really just cut loose. As a kid growing up back in the day, I got to watch a lot of the early Denzel movies like Glory, The Mighty Quinn, Ricochet, which is a badass action movie that doesn't get enough love. And then I got to see him go on to have this really distinguished and illustrious career hooking up with great directors like Spike Lee and Jonathan Demme in movies like Malcolm X and Philadelphia. And then he goes on to do Crimson Tide and Devil in a Blue Dress, which is a very underrated Denzel movie. In Training Day, Denzel Washington's performance is so good that it's kind of easy to overlook the other guy in the movie, Ethan Hawke, because he's no slouch in the acting department as well. And it takes quite an actor to do scenes with Denzel and not look like the, odd person out. There are many great scenes in this movie, so many memorable moments and a lot of quotable lines, mostly from Denzel's character. It's in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler for those that haven't seen this, but there's one scene where Denzel's character Alonzo pulls a gun out on Hawke's character Hoyt while they're in the car in mid-conversation. And you have to see the movie to find out the context of the scene, but it is pretty suspenseful in that moment, even though you come to believe that Denzel is kind of a good guy until that part happens, and then after that you're kind of wondering, you're like on the fence a little bit, and every now and then he kind of walks that line, crosses it, comes back over it, makes you think, okay, he's just being a teacher. He's trying to school Jake Hoyt. He's trying to make sure that he knows all the ins and outs of how to do this narcotics undercover thing the right way in terms of having to get your hands dirty and all that. And so every now and then, you're teetering on that line of, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Or is he just in that gray area? And the movie does a really great job of keeping that dynamic all throughout the 2-hour runtime until it finally reveals what it reveals at the end. And so don't want to spoil that because you got to see the movie to find out. For the most part, it's a very straightforward story. There's a lot of cool setup early in the film that pays off in the latter half of the film. There are a lot of familiar faces that pop up in this movie in terms of actors. You got Tom Berenger in there in one scene, the substitute himself. You have Scott Glenn in a small part. You have Dr. Dre that pops up, Macy Gray. Awesome character actors like Cliff Curtis, who appears in movies like Three Kings, Collateral Damage, Bringing Out the Dead. He is a chameleon of a character actor. You also have Tuco Salamanca in there from Breaking Bad, Raymond Cruz. You have that guy from Fast and Furious and Purge Anarchy, who's always playing thugs in movies, that Mexican guy who had a monkey come out of his ass, and Bruce Almighty. Noel Guglielmi, I think his name is. The music score for this movie from composer Mark Mancina is also on point. I really enjoy the music from this guy. He scored movies like Assassins, Bad Boys, Twister, Speed. And I think he's a very underrated composer when it comes to movies. And this came from director Antoine Fuqua, whose directorial debut was 1998's The Replacement Killers, which starred Chow Yun-fat and Mira Sorvino. After Training Day, he went on to have a great career directing movies like Tears of the Sun. And then there was, most recently, he did the remake of The Magnificent Seven. And then he works a lot with Denzel every now and then. I think he did the Equalizer movies, all three of them. A little fun fact for movie fans, like David Fincher and Michael Bay, Antoine Fuqua also got his start as a music video director. He directed The Most Beautiful Girl in the World video for Prince and Gangsta's Paradise for Coolio from the Dangerous Minds soundtrack. So pretty cool way to get your career started, I think. But yeah, that guy's come a long way. He's made some great films throughout his career, and I still look forward to whatever he does next. Training Day is one of the best crime thrillers of the 2000s, and for my money has one of the greatest Denzel Washington performances of all time. But I do think he should have took home that Oscar gold a lot sooner in his career, since by then he had been in movies like Malcolm X and Philadelphia and The Hurricane. I do think that he should have won for The Hurricane at least, because I'm not mad that Pacino won in 93% of Woman. I think he's great in that movie, so I can't argue with that. But he should have at least won it for The Hurricane, because they gave it to Kevin Spacey for American Beauty, which, in hindsight, you know, maybe they shouldn't have, you know, since he's kind of a creep. This is a movie that you should have no trouble finding on streaming, but I'm a hard copy kind of guy. Those of you that know me know that, and so, you know, I'm going to have my copy of the movie on DVD or Blu-ray, and there it is, right there on Blu-ray, Training Day, the original poster cover there. As a movie fan, I always appreciate a good tagline on a poster or a cover of a movie, and this one is a pretty damn good one, which pretty much sums up the main theme of the film. The only thing more dangerous than the line being crossed is the cop who will cross it, which is down here in small print at the bottom there. But yeah, 2001's Training Day. Check it out. 4-star classic. Highly recommend. Thank you all very much for watching this classic movie review. I always appreciate you. If you're into movies, if you're into the classics, if you're into this kind of thing, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications on more reviews coming from me very soon. Please don't forget to comment, share, like. Always helps out the channel. If you're a returning viewer, thank you very much for all your support and all your views. Always appreciate you. Everybody take care of each other. Till next time, peace out. God bless.